Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Slow Your Roll. I am Cody, and this is Alex.
Hey, everybody.
Perfect. And today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to be reading and reacting to a couple RPG horror stories from Reddit, and maybe giving some feedback and advice if we can, or maybe just laughing at people, whatever. We'll see how it goes.
And I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So I'll start us off. So this one is titled A Common Horror Story, in parentheses, rant. So, it's going to be a little bit of a rant here. And it is posted by Accomplished Bug. So here we go. So, I've DM'd over many years, and one scenario that's killed my campaign dozens of times over is campaigning with tight-knit friend groups.
That seems like the solution to a good campaign, but all right.
Exactly, okay. But it is kind of relatable, so we'll see what he means here. Often, it's these two situations. One friend misses the session, and no one wants to continue without the other player present, and that chain repeats, either by ghosting or simply missing the time or whatever, and then the campaign dies. Or there's a second situation where one person leaves the game entirely, just outright leaves the game for whatever reason, and it's kind of just the feeling of it's not the same without X, interest dies out and campaign dies.
All right, so, I kind of get it.
Yeah, so I can already see where he's coming from a little bit there, actually. But continuing on, I understand real life exists, but if one player is your anchor to stay with the game, then why did I put so much time into the campaign? The reason I bring this up is because in my current campaign, I got one player who doesn't like another player's character. She's been missing sessions rather than talk to him about it, and told me instead. Another player caught on and said that if she's leaving the campaign, he's out too. I talked to the problem player, and the problem is that he's too excited for the campaign and interactions to the point he tries to engage as much as possible. I told him to tone it down, and he hasn't. I feel like this campaign is going in the same direction, and I feel my motivation draining already. I feel like wrapping up DMing altogether, because cooking a full course meal and serving it to an empty table hurts.
Oof. I mean, how can you not feel for this guy?
Right. Right. It is tough, because oftentimes someone that's passionate enough to DM and actually enjoys it, they are the same people that go all in, where a lot of times it's their house, a lot of times it's like they're the ones providing food or snacks. And it's like, it shouldn't necessarily be that way all the time, but most of the time that'll just kind of happen naturally if the DM cares and is excited about having the people over and stuff,
Yeah, the person with the most commitment is usually the most excited about it.
Right, exactly. And that's kind of just how it goes.
But I mean, I kind of feel like they need to have a discussion though at their table, because it's like,
yes.
If Alex doesn't show up for 2 sessions, that doesn't mean the whole campaign's over. You know what I'm saying? That's not okay.
Right, I agree. That was one of the things we covered in like our most recent campaign that we're committing to. It was just like right at session 0, we're like, okay, we can miss up to 2 people and possibly still play if everyone's down for it, kind of thing.
Right.
Sometimes
and I think that also
ready to do that.
Right, and I think that also works because we have like 6 or 7 people in the campaign.
Right, yeah, that it does help. The more people we have, it's not that you miss people less, but it's like it's easier to play a session and make it happen, missing a couple or one. So for sure.
Definitely.
There's a couple comments that are kind of on the same vein of what you were thinking. So the first commenter, this is probably the most insidious disease that plagues the hobby. After more than a decade as a player and DM, more games seem to end this way than not. Best advice I can give is to just let them mill themselves out and replace players that ghost. It took a long time doing this, but my table has finally stabilized to the point where we actually finish games consistently.
Yeah, true. That could also be like the table that, yeah, we'll get together and play D&D, but like 3 people enjoy D&D, 2 people are just kind of there for the like party and chips, and then another person's there because like their boyfriend's there.
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that does happen. And I mean, all of this is kind of tough, you know, like the whole thing is like you gotta have a cohesive deal between the players and the DM. Like everyone's gotta want to do it. And it's kind of hard, especially if you're playing games in person. Like it's just kind of hard to get everyone with the same amount of passion to do the thing, you know?
True. But that sounds like they didn't exactly get a solution to their problem. Hopefully they figure that out in the future. Yeah, but this next person,
I'm ready.
I tell ya. First and last time I try D&D.
Oh, yikes.
Right, by King Wraith 001.
This is a true horror story. That's like the worst case scenario.
Right. So this was about a year ago. My girlfriend had this group of friends who liked playing D&D often and asked if I would like to try it. I turned it down because I never played or watched anything like it, but she always asked anyway. One day I finally said yes and watched how everything was played and how the story was told. Something about the lore of the game scratched an itch I never thought I had. When the game was over, I asked the DM if it was okay if I made a character and was able to join. The DM was excited and helped me learn about the game. I had 2 weeks to learn as much as I could. My girlfriend was overjoyed and helped me a lot. She brought me some expensive dice, bought me some books, told me about the races and classes. The more I kept investing, the more excited I got. Waiting and counting the days until the next game session, I was talking to the DM the whole time while I was making my character. Even going as far to buy outfits to dress up as my character in the game. Paid a friend to 3D print a mini as well. So this guy's invested. My gosh.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, like, he's already so committed at this point. Like, how could you end up hating the game? Like, it feels like he's already experienced the thrill of the game. You know, how could you turn away at this point?
Right, he's basically LARPing at this point.
Right.
My girlfriend was laughing from how I was going all out. I was new to this and liked what I saw, so I wanted to go all out. Who can blame him? The day finally came when we could play. Everyone was shocked on how all out I went. My character was a human, dual-wielding fighter. The game started, and the DM had them meet my character. They all saw my character slay some monsters by myself. Everyone was level 7, so he made mine that too. The DM narrated how my character would make a good addition to the group. Everyone agreed that I would be good for the team, and player number 4, who was also a fighter, said that we don't need another fighter. Like, what?
Uh-oh. This is not good, okay.
Right. So here's where the conflict starts. I thought he was just speaking in character since his character was egotistic and edgy. I made my character lighthearted and humble. Player number 4 and me talked back and forth on who would be the better fighter. His character challenged mine to a duel, but I turned it down by saying, if I said you were best now, would we be able to carry on? I would like a rest after fighting these creatures. Before I could even rest, suddenly we got ambushed by a group of bandits. So not only was my character already tired, but was also caught by surprise. The DM said that a bandit snuck up on me and tried to stab me in the back. I had to roll a saving throw, landed a 17, but wasn't good enough. Got stabbed by a deadly poison dagger and died slowly from it.
Okay.
Right. First session for an excited character, mind you.
That's, oh boy. Okay, so like my first thought is like, you know, at our table, like I could probably trust whoever's DMing to like put this in the story somehow, and maybe they're not actually just dead, like something's going on here, but man, not knowing, I already know that that's not how this is gonna go. You know?
Yeah.
Okay.
After the fight, player 4 said, well, looks like I was the better fighter. The group said some shallow words about my character and moved on. I sat there for 5 hours watching them play. So this was at the beginning of a session.
No.
My girlfriend was texting me how sorry she was and said we could just go home. I turned it down and I didn't want to make her leave mid-game. But after the game, my girlfriend talked to the DM and asked why the heck did he kill my character right off the bat.
Right.
It turns out while I was texting the DM about my character, DM and Player 4 were talking too. Player 4 didn't like that I was going to be a fighter and started talking to the group if they were okay with my character dying right away.
What? No way.
They planned his character's death.
That is so messed up.
So mean. It's almost bullying.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that is bullying. That is emotionally hard right there. That is not okay.
I got 2 sentences left. They're okay with it and didn't care about everything I did. Like the excitedness getting ready for 2 weeks.
How
my girlfriend,
could you?
Right.
There's a whole group of people that were just like, yeah, this is a good idea. Like, no way. That is awful. They are awful people.
My girlfriend bitched them out and stopped playing with them. Ever since then, I've been turned off by D&D related things. Would I like to try it again? Maybe. But that really put D&D in a bad spot for me.
Oh my gosh. I know. Okay, listen. I know that this person will never, ever watch this video. But man, on the off chance that they did, please don't give up on D&D. Those are just heartless people, and that's not the normal. That's not how it goes.
For real, though. Like, literally, a group of people were like, let's terrorize this nerd.
That is so... What? I can't even believe that. That's crazy. Man, that is so wild. Well, it's good that his girlfriend wasn't just like, it's good that she left at least. Way to support him.
There was definitely good people in this story, just not the people at the table.
Oh, that is awful. Wow. Okay, that's impressive. That one got me.
Yeah, I didn't see any like crazy comments or anything, but Sir Two Swords deserves a long life of great adventures.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Okay. That is the worst case scenario ever. So, all right. I have one simply called Never Thought I'd Post Here, which is pretty funny.
Nice.
It's not really a title as much as it is just, whatever. But it was posted by Rick Hammersteel. So here we go.
Rick Hammersteel. He must have other jobs.
Yeah. Okay. So, I'm not sure if this counts as a horror story or not, but I feel the need to vent. I'm in a D&D group that's been playing for 4 to 5 years. We've been playing in a store, and when that store closed, we moved into my house to continue. There are 6 of us: the DM, myself, my brother, my neighbor, his brother, and a friend. The friend is why I'm posting right now. He's not a bad player. He has a tendency to play loner edgelords that get on my nerves a lot, but I never really had a problem with him personally. However, he's chronically absent.
Okay.
Now, the reasons he tends to be absent seem to vary. He's trying to find a job, his sister is having a baby, his mom cracked her ribs, that sort of thing. However, these absences are very frequent. He was absent for pretty much half of this year, in fact.
Whoa, okay.
Right, so he is stacking up some absences. I mean, those are good excuses, especially if they're legitimate, for sure. But, that is... I see where he's coming from here.
Right.
Now, him being absent isn't necessarily a problem for me personally, but the excuses seem to be getting out of hand, mainly because his mother seems to be the one that forces him to stay home. Some of the reasons make sense. She wants him to get a job. That's fine. Cleaning house, that's okay. But this time, she's kept him from coming because she thinks that his girlfriend's not being included in our games. We didn't even know if the girlfriend herself wanted to play. If there was room in my house, we'd gladly let her join. When I was told about this, I was pretty mad. What business was it? This mother that what business was it that this mother that the guy's girlfriend wasn't in the game? I even found out later that the girlfriend herself didn't even mind. And I do wonder about that one. It says didn't even mind. So it's like, did she not want to play? Or she's just like, oh, no, it's okay. And maybe she did. Like, I don't know. But the last group group last bit here. As I said before, though, this seems to be a culmination of his problems. He's constantly fired/quitting from jobs and is constantly never at our games. I get that real life gets in the way a lot, but I feel like if your life's that hectic, you gotta let some things go. I feel like he really shouldn't be in the game right now because I never know if he's going to be able to show up. I don't know what the mother's going to say next as an excuse. What do you think? Am I thinking too harshly?
I don't know. If this was the AMA right now, I would probably say yes.
I know.
Okay, there is a certain extent where it's like, okay, dude, you got way too much going on. Maybe you could chill for a little bit. But at the same time, it's also like there's very easy narrative ways to include someone every now and then. Tom Bombadil from Lord of the Rings is a great kind of character who that person could have been.
Yeah, I think, maybe the guy is right. Like, I get it can be super frustrating if you've got a player that's absent a lot of the time. But at the same time, anytime that's happened for me, it's kind of like, as much as I hate to say it, it's almost easy. Like, if someone's consistently gone, it's almost like easier to deal with them being gone because you're kind of used to it.
Right.
And
I mean, if they are consistently absent, that's some sort of consistency to plan around.
Right. Like, it actually is, There are a couple comments that are kind of like, some of the stuff that I thought too. But first one is, I think before any of us can really chip in, we got to know how old this guy is. And that's a good point. Original poster said, I apologize. I don't have an answer exact age, but he should be about 20-ish. Which I kind of don't like, that it's like vague. But, whatever. About 20-ish, sure. Okay, so the next person's like, sounds like Buddy has zero plans or aspirations and is content with letting his mom run his life. I think your reaction is reasonable. Why the F should his mom be speaking up for his girlfriend? Sounds like she enjoys micromanaging other people. And this is kind of harsh. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to just say this guy's totally right.
See, here's the thing. I don't think his mom said a dang thing. Not once.
Right.
I think that's his go-to excuse for being like, I'm lazy currently and not going to make effort. I 100% think so.
I very much think that that's possible, and that might be even more likely than his mom being this micromanaging, but hard to say.
Hey, you never know. Some moms are crazy.
Yeah, for sure. The rest of that comment is, I'd recommend talking to your group and voicing your feelings on this one. I don't think your friend is a good fit for your table. Beware, I could totally see his mom showing up and complaining on his behalf. Wow.
I'll tell her to roll for initiative.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Okay, well that's what I got for you for that one.
Definitely. All right, I got this one over here. It's got a metagamer tag, so these ones are always fun. It's by Void Tree MC. This just happened. Infinite Wizards tried to crash the party. Which is actually a really good title. I gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, that's clickbaity. I gotta know what that means.
I was invited to join a level 17 5e one-shot this evening.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. Like, you can, from the very first sentence, you can already find problems with what's gonna go on.
Yeah, level 17, one shot. I hope you've got 2 days to play.
I've been hanging out at a Discord server where a DM's cooperative runs a bunch of paid games, and I'm in 2 paid campaigns right now. But this evening was a free one-shot. I know a lot of people are down on paid games, but I like these guys. I don't have a friends group that plays D&D. I have friends, but when I tell them about my games, their eyes glaze over. And I feel like a lot of people probably have that problem too.
Yeah, I feel like most D&D stories, like normal D&D stories, just don't have the flair retold, and that's just how it is.
The problem with free games is that you often get one person who does their level best to sync the game. Okay, that's what they said. Does their absolute best... I'm going to rephrase it.
Sure.
One person who does their absolute best to sync the game, and it cuts into playtime to sort them out. Oh, okay, I think this guy's British. Sort them out.
Yeah, you might be right. I can see it, yeah. Those one player does their level best to just... Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. But everything was fine until it was the wizard's turn. The wizard, as far as I can remember, said, I cast Wish. Since Wish allows me to cast any spell, I cast Simulacrum with it. And since I cast Simulacrum on myself, casting Simulacrum, I create infinite copies of myself. Note, it does not work that way.
I mean, I guess technically Wish kind of works that way, but no, I mean... Okay, whatever. Carry on.
Yeah, if we're going to lawyer him, what he said didn't work.
Right.
I swear, I heard the DM's brain crash. The DM started looking up the spells. The 12-hour casting time of Simulacrum was brought up. The wizard started explaining the preparations to cast Simulacrum had begun 12 hours ago at the hands of a bunch of obedient followers on another plane that he owns, who were scrying and waiting for all the exact right moments to help him out. There were many repetitions of the phrase, all of this is completely legal and normal, and generally talking over the DM whenever he tried to get a word in edgewise.
Completely legal and normal.
Right.
I'm gonna say
buy
that,
the book.
Yeah, the next time I haven't been pulled over in a long time, but the next time I get pulled over, I'll be like, officer, I was doing everything completely legal and normal.
You get pulled out so fast.
Yeah, right. All right, sorry.
One of the players typed, man, I'm out of here, and dropped out of the call. Understandable.
Yeah.
The DM took a step back and explained that The DM took a step back and explained that what Wizard was proposing wasn't in the spirit of a one-shot where 12 hours ago didn't exist. He tried to guide Wizard back to reality, but the Wizard was having none of it. If he was level 17, he argued, 12 hours ago certainly existed, and he started casting Simulacrum then.
Man, Wizard sounds like a turd.
Yeah, it's so fun at parties. The material components were taken care of by his extra-dimensional minions, apparently. And when it became apparent that the DM was not going to allow this silliness, the wizard went full edgelord. You charge money to DM? You didn't even know the spells? You had to look them up? You suck. Just going off at this point. I can't even believe it.
Oh man, so that's horrifying because like I've considered trying to run paid games and that's my nightmare. You know, it's just like someone screaming at you like you're not equipped for this. You know, like yeah,
dilly button.
Right.
At that point, the wizard got booted from the Discord, as he should have, and we took a 10-minute break while the DM cooled down. Someone contacted the player who dropped out and assured them that the problem person was gone, and they rejoined, which was cool. I would have hoped for that to happen too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And we went on to have a fun game, though the DM had to call the game before we finished because it was getting late. Maybe if we hadn't had a recursive wizards, we hadn't had recursive wizards, we could have started on time. Yeah, I think that's a sentence.
Yeah. I definitely know what they mean. Yeah.
And edit. One of the players from last night's game just posted in the game Discord channel that he was in another game where the wizard twerp from last game showed up. The twerps argued with the DM again and called the DM an assortment of racial and gay slurs and got booted.
Oh my gosh.
Right, this dude's just escalating more and more. How are you not going to learn from your problems?
That is crazy. Yeah, this is really one of those situations where it's like, wow, you've had multiple issues in paid games before. Like maybe it's you. You know, maybe you should consider it being you.
Yeah, for real though.
Wow, yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments down here that's hate to, well, actually, but when you cast another spell with Wish, you can ignore any of the requirements for it. So the wizard player could have casted Simulacrum instantly if he wanted to and still be rules as written. Obviously, that isn't the problem with this player, though.
Right, exactly.
And he also wanted to clarify, I'm not saying that the wizard should have been allowed to multiply themselves by affinity. No intention of raw or DM with sense would allow for that. I am also not defending the player arguing with the DM or OP about deciding on how to rule the game. That is solely the domain of GM, keeper, and what have you.
Yeah, they write about that one. That's good.
Right. It's always good to have the rules lawyer in the comments.
Yes, exactly. Especially a reasonable rules lawyer, because it's like, hey, this is how it's supposed to be, but also that guy's a turd.
Yeah, for real. Because that actually should come up, especially in high level play. Is it like,
yeah,
okay, is this actually in the spirit of the game, or are you just
exactly,
being a turd?
exactly. It blows my mind how many people think that like the rules exist for any reason other than running a manageable game. Like that's the reason for rules. Like
didn't you know rules were meant to be broken?
Yeah. Well, listen, sometimes, but that guy's nuts.
Yeah, totally know what you mean. But oh man. I
think that's it, right? I mean, I'm a lot of stories.
Yep, and that was mine. Well, until next time, everybody, make sure to like, comment, or subscribe. And if you have any great DM horror stories or even player horror stories, leave them down in the comments because we got to hear them.
Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. I would love to do this whole thing again with just commented stories. Like, that'd be great.
Yeah, definitely. But until next time, everybody, we'll see y'all later.
See you around.